ladies and gentlemen, we have a TvZ in the top left-hand corner. We have our Zerg player, Toss My Salad. And in the bottom right-hand corner, we have our Terran player, Manico. Alright, so it's going to be interesting to see where they go during this matchup. A lot of players I've seen go for the Terran will go for a Marine siege tank, and Zerg will try to counter with Hydralit, Bane, and Ling, but we'll see what the two players decide to do. So we see from the Terran player, he's getting Refinery first, before his barracks. Standard build, sorry, turn down the music. Standard build, definitely showing he's going to go for a little bit more gas intensive to start. And our Zerg player's taking the early expand. Pretty common stuff out of both players. Nothing new, so we'll go ahead and skip forward. And as you see, we got the barracks. Obviously, this is going to be a Reaper. He's getting his 50 gas in the top right, you can see. And he's going to have more gas, though, than as opposed to opening with barracks first. So we got the spawning pool and extractors. Obviously, that's going to be a metabolic boost upgrade for the Lings. And yeah, overall, very standard opening for both players. Orbital going down, and both sides just taking it slow. Terran getting the second expand, so he's obviously going for more of a 1-1-1 build because he's a little more safe in this instance with the option of either a Banshee or a Siege Tank for high ground holding. So we got the Reaper coming out. The question is, will he be able to do much with this Reaper? And we'll see if he can get much done. Really, all Zerg has to do is wait till the Queen comes out to actually have to worry. I mean, once the Queen comes out, it's pretty much, the Reaper can't do much harass, so keeping those Lings alive is important, because the Lings aren't going to get much killed. It's actually going to be a 2-1-1 build coming from Terran, the Refinery first, or Reactor first, sorry. So nothing too strange here. Got the Reaper trying to do poke, not getting much at all. A lot of players will sit that Reaper at the third base to watch for an expansion, which is obviously what he's doing here. You can see the factory is going to be switching. Don't know. Okay, there we go. Now he's going for Reactor, getting the Starport. Gonna get the Tech Lab for Stim. Zerg player is going to expand to his third. He manages to kill that Reaper. After Metabolic Boost is done, though, Reapers are a lot less effective when they're alone. We're going to have early layer tech, not necessarily early, but layer tech coming from Zerg. And he's going to be looking to go for Baneling, so that'll be interesting to see how he's able to do this, since it's going to be more of a Marine Marauder, from what it looks like, with the double medevac drop after he gets his 16 Marines out. Pretty standard 16 drop. Used to be a lot more common in about a year ago, but it's still a thing. It's still around. He messes. His timing's a little off though. He's only going to have 1.5 medevacs full, and he has to wait. Therefore, now he's going to head out. Zerg player, however, is able to see this coming. If we look right here, we're able to see that medevac, so he's going to know this is coming, and he'll be able to position himself just like he is now. This drop isn't going to look like it's going to get too much done. The Overseer sees the upgrades are going down. He sees the base is only starting to get fully maxed out. Meanwhile, the third base is getting maxed out. And this medevac is just sitting here, and this is important to know that. I mean, he's delaying himself more and more and more. Upgrades are going to be very close to each other at the same time, though. His first siege tank coming out of the game, coming out, getting more Raxes for the production, and here comes the drop. He's going to stim in, is what it looks like. Ooh, the Baneling control is not very good, and he's going to pick up all those Banelings, therefore leaving Zerg player baby defenseless, as Zerglings against Stim Marines do nothing at all. So we'll see if he's able to hold this. He should be able to hold this hatchery, especially with these Banes coming up with those Zerglings, and it looks like he's going to be able to get this if he just wraps around. And yeah, those Banelings are going to have huge connections. Terra's going to have to pick up and fly out, or he can fly up, but those Queens are there to block it, so it's not going to do too much. Meanwhile, you look in the production tab, we got lots of Lings coming out, +1/+1 for both is halfway done, getting more medevacs coming out, and these barracks are not really doing too much at all right now. Looks like Zerg's going to go for a counterattack right now, knowing that most of his army is up, has gone up in flames, but he's going to have more at base. Seeing if he gets a little bit of poke damage or scout for that third, very important to know. If Terran is at the third base at that point, that is not good. Zerg player needs to be droning up a lot more. This Zerg attack isn't going to do too much, so he needs to have these drones from his third. He needs to have the third saturated. He takes a fourth base, and my guess is he knows that he was a little off on his timing. That needs to start boosting up his production. As you can see, 8 drones coming out at once, and looks like the army's coming up for the 2-2 in a little bit. Good timing on those upgrades. We got the shield for the Marines. Creep spread starting to go for the Zerg player. Very nice. He needs to take control if he's going to go Ling Bane. Especially, it looks like he's... Can't tell if he's going to go for... Oh, alright, so he's going straight to Spire, or straight to Hive, which means he's going more for Ultralisks than Yutas. So this is going to be really a matter of timing. Can Zerg players survive in time to get these Ultras? Third base is fully saturated almost. And the Terran player's trying to take his third base now. We'll see if he's able to hold on to it very long. Zerg needs to definitely be a little bit more aggressive on the... on this attack, so he can try to get this third base denied, or at least slowed down from getting ramped up. Creep spread about getting close to halfway across the map, and this is very important. He wants to get this entire area covered so he can get this base safely and this base safely. As you can see, we got the centrifugal hooks coming out. We got vehicle weapons coming out. +2 weapons only, not shields yet, so that's interesting. Meanwhile, we got some more barracks being produced, and it looks like Terran's gonna go for an attack all the way around the 1 o'clock position. Gonna come from 12 o'clock down on the third base. So this is actually very tricky because the creep is on this area. So unless he takes out this creep before he goes in, he's gonna be in a lot of danger if Zerg tries to flank him from both sides, and that pincer attack could be very dangerous. Currently, only about 22 or so Marines, 20 Marines, 21 Marines. He's gonna start sieging up. But it looks like Zerg's going to go actually looking forward to see if there's a third base here, or if it was even a fourth base. He will see that these Terran units are stimming in. Obviously not the full army, but a good portion of it. So we'll see how he's able to... He comes under his own counterattack, and it looks like he's going to be able to actually get in this mineral line, and this could be very bad for the Terran player if he loses a lot of these SCVs, because that's about a third of his production. Terran's going to push forward anyway. These Zerglings getting a lot of work done on this mineral line, taking all of them out. Terran's going to push in. The Banelings and those Zerglings on this creep, he can't push in yet. He's going to lift up, and that's very smart. These tanks are in the back. He's going to pull them to them, and the tanks are going to go to work on these things. I don't know if that's a good idea from the Zerg player. Off creep with Banelings and Lynx, that's very risky. But he looks like he's going to be able to get these tanks, and that's actually very good. Slowing down the Terran. Terran's only got about 16 or so Marines left in this drop area with his tanks down now. Looks like Zerg's going to push in now, thinking he has the advantage. Unfortunately, it's probably not the best idea to push, and yeah, you can see he's going to back off with the rest of the army. Not going to commit fully. His Baneling's going to waste here. But overall, not a bad defense from Zerg. It looks like he had the better trade, getting his fourth base, starting to get that saturated, getting those Banelings out. We have the Spire finishing up. It just finished now. Adrenal Glands coming in for Zerg. And Terran's just going to try to keep this map, kind of try to contain... I don't know what this drone is doing. Creep spread is doing a really good job. Unfortunately, the top area, we don't have any creep, which is where Terran's pushing in. So it would be good for Zerg to try to push in. He's going to push forward, and that's going to do a little bit of damage to him. Definitely wants to pull back until he can get some creep spread on the high ground so he can see what's going on. He should probably start producing either Corruptors or Vipers, or even both, honestly, to get some advantage. 2-2 just now finishing for Zerg, so he's going to have this advantage over the Terran with 2-1 for the next 10 seconds. So right now is really time to engage if he's going to, but he's really a lot down. He's down a lot on food supply, and these tanks are set up on the low ground to get a lot of damage in. Zerg player sees this, he's going to have to pull back. Meanwhile, Adrenal Gland's halfway done. A lot more lanes coming out. Siege tank, not really much being produced from the Terran. He's got to keep up with this macro. Queens are just going to try to get this creep spread going. He's going to be able to get the high ground with the creep. And it looks like Terran just lost a little bit of his army, but he's going to have a great deal more. Zerg player trying to produce his army. He's going to get these 5 Ultralisks out. If he can save enough time to get these Ultras out, he will be fine. This Liberator's going to come in, actually. And we'll see if it can get any work done on Harass. We can see the siege tank is set up in here. He's going to kill that queen. And, yeah, he's going to get the queen. The Liberator, not really doing a whole lot. Gets about 5 drones. But Terran's going to stim into this third base, and he looks like he's going to be able to take this down. There's no way Zerg can push this. He needs to wait for these Ultralisks to come in before he can go in. It'd be smart for Terran to just back up now, knowing he's taking out the base. He sees the fourth base, and I think he needs to just back up now and take take it on a win. 3-3 is coming out for Zerg. Terran's not actually getting 3-3 right now. That's going to slow him down. Zerg's going for a flank. He's going to go for the wraparound. He's going to get the Ultralisk coming in. The Zergling's in the backline on the main tanks. And it looks like Zerg might be able to just shred through this army. And if he pulls back with the Banelings, yeah, and the Banelings are getting in there. So Terran overall kind of threw his army away there. Zerg's producing 22 more lings, another Ultra, 3-3 halfway done. Chitinous plating is almost done. Unfortunately, Terran was not, Zerg wasn't able to wait until the fight played before he went in. He went in way too quickly. And Terran's going to have about 3-4 medevacs worth of units coming up in this main base. He's going to be able to get the Ultralisk Cavern before that upgrade finishes. Baneling's coming in, taking a lot of units, and this Ultra's going to be able to finish up the work with the Zerglings. Meanwhile, in the middle, we have 2 Marines killing those Overlords. Marines, he's just kind of rallying his units. Is Zerg get a really nice counterattack going over on these SCVs? He put a really good shape if he took these down there. And it looks like he actually might be going to. Zerg's only sitting on 3, trying to get this 4th base situated. He probably needs to get his base down here situated so he can get a little bit of an upper hand, since Terran is still only on 3 bases. Rallying his units up here, very interesting choice actually. And it looks like Zerg's going to send his army down. Oh, he's sending his full army down here. This could leave him out of position in the main in his 3rd base though, leaving Terran able to capitalize and take good decent ground here. And so it looks like Zerg's going to push in. He's going to get into the center line. And Terran's starting to get this 3-3, but I don't know. Zerg's 3-3 is just now about to finish. And he's going to be able to take out all of these supply depots. He's going to have to force this lift. But Terran's going to just doesn't care. He's just going to lift up and push his army. And at the same time, Zerg's going to have to back up and come over here. Zerg's going to not even get the cancel off, though, unfortunately. Maneko's in a pretty decent situation here. He just needs to scan to get this creep out, honestly. But he's pushing up into the ramp, but that's not a good idea with those only bio units. Meanwhile, Siege Tank coming up for the rally. Terran's going to actually lift up and try to get on the main base, most likely. Yep, there he is. And it looks like Zerg's going to be able to meet him up there, but he's going to be a little late. He's going to focus down this evolution chamber. I'm not sure if that's the best strategy. As Zerg's going to be able to get his army in there in time. He probably should have gotten this Baneling nest at least, especially since upgrades are done. He misses a good amount of his units and leaves them to die. He's going to drop, and it looks like he's going to go for this 4th base. But Zerg is already here, and he's not going to be able to do much here, so he's going to back out. That's very smart. Taking this 5th base down here. He needs to take this 3rd base back so he can get the economy. It looks like Zerg's going to push out, actually. I'm not sure if this is the best time to push out. He needs to get this creep spread a little bit further. This creep spread is getting very close to his Terran's 3rd, and this is risky. He's got the creep spread going down south, but he doesn't have it going up north there very well. And it looks like Terran's going to start clearing out the high ground. Very smart. Meanwhile, 4th base is starting to get saturated. Nice production. Chitinous plating is done for the Ultras, so they are very dangerous. He needs to attack within the next 20 seconds if he wants to attack the armies head on. Otherwise, he needs to harass. Terran is not actually saturating his 3rd base, though. He's sitting on 1 base, technically, and he's long mining from it. So he's in a very bad situation economically. So if Zerg can keep holding off and keep putting pressure on the Terran player, Zerg can get he already is in a upper hand. He can take the win just by starving him out of minerals, honestly. And he's going to get a siege tank, maybe even 2 siege tanks from this. But it looks like the main army is trying to engage. He's going to lose a few Ultras to this fight. He needs to back up. Those Banelings aren't going to do very much. And looks like we're going to get 20 more Lings, 3 more Ultras, and only a few Marines and Marauders at this time because of his long-range mining. He still hasn't macroed yet at his home base, and he's going to try to take a 4th, but that's not going to do too much if he doesn't have any on a 3rd. Terran's going to push up, get this creep spread taken out. Zerg's going to get rid. Looks like Zerg's going to. Alright, so Zerg's going to go around. He's going to back off, give Terran this low ground, and probably going to try to go in from the high ground. He might be able to get this 3rd base down and get out. And it looks like that's going to be what he does. With no cancel. Ultras are following though, backing up with no creep there. Terran's really just trying to get this creep spread out, but he's engaging open. Looks like this could be a really serious engagement. These Marines overstimmed extremely, and it looks like these Ultras might be able to shred through the rest of them. And that's going to be the case. These Marines and Marauders just left there to die. And unfortunately, getting away with only about a medevac and a half worth of units. These Marauders and Marines just like wondering what to do next. So meanwhile, Zerg again down his 3rd base, still not able to get it, but he does have a solid 3 bases of mining. Meanwhile, Terran still has not created any SCVs. If you go into production, he's starting to make him now. Too busy focusing on attacking, I guess. But he was able to clear out some of this creep in the middle, which is very important, diminishing sight lines and giving him an advantage. But he still is just now transferring to his SCVs over to this 4th base so he can get some things going. Let's see if we look at the units killed. So Zerg has killed 32 SCVs in this entire thing, and that is a very, very big difference. It's a 59 Zerg drone count to 44 SCV count. That's a huge difference, especially in this late game setup. Meanwhile, Terran still hasn't put any SCVs on this base. He's not making any SCVs right now. He's going for a Liberator, but I'm not sure how much that's going to do. He needed to have at least like 4, 5, 6 Liberators at this point so he can just contain the Zerg player where he is and be able to, I mean, if he set him up over here, he'd be able to go kill this base or kill that base again and just contain the Zerg. And it looks like Zerg's going to start expanding down to his 6th base, actually. We got a drop coming in over here from Terran, but this is honestly, it's starting to look very bad for Terran with no units. Meanwhile, we've got Infestors coming out, a couple Vipers coming out, a little late into the game though, I would say. He should have had those several minutes ago. Terran's going to expand to his 5th base though, but still, he hasn't been putting units here. He hasn't even fixed his refinery, which is going to go down if he doesn't. And Terran's looking to start pushing out here. Only 1 Liberator though, and a whole bunch of medevacs. 10 medevacs. Very unnecessary amount without the Liberators, because those medevacs with these Vipers, if Vipers could get some blinding clouds on them, not blinding clouds, sorry, parasitic bombs on the medevacs, then that would be very dangerous. Unfortunately, the Vipers don't have any energy. But these Infestors can also do a lot of work. 3 Infestors can cover this entire army with bungles, so Terran's going to push forward, set his Liberator up most likely. Again, 1 Liberator is not going to do very much against this giant army. And it looks like he's getting ready to engage. Here comes the engagement. The Marines and Marauders already kind of halfway stimmed. The Banelings come in and do some work. Ultras, so the Infestors just run in there. The Vipers aren't going to do much either, but these Ultras are going to be cleaning up with these Banelings coming behind. And it looks like Zerg players should be able to clean this up. Very, very close, but efficiently. The Marines and Marauders coming, still rallied over there, going to lose their lives. 4 more Ultralisks and 16 Zerglings coming in. We have this base getting saturated. It's 4 bases to 4, but only really 1 base is mining for Terran right now. These Ultras going to clean up these extra units, and it looks like we're going to be seeing a GG here soon, ladies and gentlemen. We've got really no production coming from Terran at the moment. If you look at the income, it's looking bad. It's looking bad. It's not terrible considering both sides, but Zerg's just got so much more. It's going to shoot up once it starts getting upgraded with drones. But these SCVs are going to get taken out by these Lings, and the Ultras probably don't need to be up here in case his army comes forward. But it's already looking really bad for Terran. He's not able to produce the amount of units he wants to if we go back to production. He's only making 1 SCV right now. Zerg player just needs to starve him out. That's all he has to do. It's just a game of wait and see how much damage he can get done with these Lings. So many medevacs, but no units. He's got 1 medevac per unit. And now we got some Corruptors coming out. Definitely going to be able to do something about these medevacs, or even the Liberators, because he only has 2 Liberators right now. Keep in mind. Make him some more Banelings. Looks like Zerg's getting ready to go in for the final engagement. 30 food supply advantage for Zerg, making 10 more Lings, 5 more Corruptors. He's going to have a huge air advantage over these Liberators. With only 3 Liberators there. He's going to go in for the 5th, make it lift. And here comes the Corruptors for the Liberators and Medevacs, the Ultralisks and Zerglings coming in. Marines already half stimmed, and he's going to get surrounding these units, and that's going to be a GG for the Zerg player. Very well played by both players. This base he just fell so hard without upgrading, reinforcing this base with either a planetary fortress or putting, SCVs on it for a solid 10 minutes. If you look at the units killed, 52 workers killed from the Zerg player, so much more damage than the 24 from the Terran, which was really only when he killed this base a couple times. Overall, very good game from both players, and I'll see you guys in the next replay review.